Hey, a lot of people asking me about Bitcoin right now. Some of you may or may not know. I'm a real estate investor primarily. I have 5 companies. The 5th one is the real estate company. I've always promoted hard assets, invest in yourself, invest in your company. And I don't like stocks. I despise the banks and think less of Wall Street. So that kind of tells you where I am. I am not a speculator. I'm just telling you all this to tell you kind of where I am so you can take this advice as you see fit. You always want to know where the source is coming from, what they're thinking when they share information with you. I made $1.6 million in Bitcoin in, I think it was under, 9 or 10 months. This is how the story plays out. There's a very, very important story. The full story is on Medium. I'm going to tell you the first half of it. There's another half of this story that I think you'll find even more interesting. If you like this, let me know in your comments. Any questions you have, or more importantly, any of you that, because I know there's a bunch of you out there really researching the space and know a lot about it. Certainly, there's many of you that know more about it than I do. So about a year ago, a little less than a year ago, I get a phone call on a Friday night. Hey, Grant, this company wants to hire you to speak at their conference, and they want to pay you in Bitcoin. I said, okay. Well, what'd you tell him? He's like, well, I talked to Sherry and I talked to Jared. They said we want to be paid in cash. I said, look, man, it's our fault that we don't understand Bitcoin. It'd been around about 8 years at that time, 7 years, I guess. And I said, it's not the customer's fault that we don't understand cryptocurrencies, or Bitcoin in this case. So tell the customer yes. The answer is always say yes until you can't. That's one of my philosophies. I always say yes until you can't. And number 2, commit first and figure the rest out later. There's another philosophy here that I'm going to share with you in a second, but the first 2 basically that I operate on in my life is, number 1, say yes to the customer. Until you can't say yes, say yes. And number 2, because you're going to be ignorant about something in business. There's something you're not going to know. There's something in a sales cycle you're not going to understand, on a date, in business, manufacturing. There's something in every part of life that there's always going to be something you don't understand. So what I always say is, look, commit first, figure the rest out later. You'll always have time to figure the rest out later. Don't get stuck and immobilized in due diligence. So while the rest of the world was out researching cryptocurrencies, by the way, in the last year and a half or 2 years, 1,300 different cryptos. How can you even keep up with it? So while everybody else was out doing research on cryptos, trying to figure out what it is, what it isn't, I took the trade. I said, okay, tell the guy it's 50 grand, give me 100 Bitcoins, 100 Bitcoins. We'll contract on Monday, say yes to him, tell him I can't wait to be at the conference. I look forward to it. The crypto's not an issue. We will definitely take it. And on Monday, I set up a crypto. On that following Monday, I set up a Bitcoin account. We accepted the 100 Bitcoins. It was trading at $500 that day. Today, it's at 19,000. It just busted 19,800, almost 20,000. I went and did the gig in Las Vegas, made a good friend there, a bunch of good contacts. It was a great conference. I got introduced to people in parts of the world that I would have never gotten introduced to. That goes back to the first thing, say yes first. Say yes is always good for you, almost always good for you to say yes to people until you can't. And on the way back from the trip, I called my accounting department and said, look, dump enough of that crypto to cover the fuel. I flew over there on my own plane. And I said, and she's like, well, how much do you think that is? I said, well, figure about $10,000, just round it down, actually, probably, because I had some other business to do there. So I said, just take care of one way, dump $10,000 worth of it so that I at least get the cost covered, and then sit on the rest of this Bitcoin stuff. Because look, I'm not trying to pretend to be an expert here. I don't know exactly what it is. Which brings me to the third point, and why I invest in hard properties and real estate, why I'm so committed to being in real assets. The third reason that I invested in Bitcoin, and I think should be a really, really important and the most interesting conversation that people should be having about all the cryptos, whether it's Ethereum or Litecoin or whatever the other 1,300 are. But most importantly, crypto as a currency. Do we understand any currency that we accept? I mean, do we really? I mean, why is everybody so baffled at the crypto thing? I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it is. Do you really know where any of your currencies are? You take cash every day. Every day you take cash, whether it's $1, $10, $50, $1 million. You take money every day with no real idea of the value. Now, before you say, well, yeah, I know what it's worth. It says it on the bill, $20. Pesos, rubles, a pound, a euro, Argentine money, I don't know what that money is down there. Shows you how ignorant I am. Or cash. What is it worth today? My daughter, my 8-year-old daughter asked me just yesterday, she says, Papa, how can a piece of paper be worth anything? And then she says, it doesn't make any sense. I said, what do you mean, baby? She's like, the $20 bill isn't any different than the $50 bill, isn't any different than the $100 bill. It doesn't make any sense that adults put different values on pieces of paper. And I'm like, dude, you got me on that one, bud. You got me on that one, because the truth is that money, the money in my pocket, I don't have any money on me right now, but the money in your pocket is only worth what you and I agree it's worth. Same thing with cryptos. So check it out. With a bit of a difference, okay, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, what Wall Street, manufactures in their casino. They sit in their laboratory, manufacture a derivative, an ETF, a mutual fund, a bond, treasury bill, some bullshit manufactured idea, and they say, oh, it's worth this. Snapchat's worth this piece of paper. They distribute or disseminate this piece of paper. They convince the world to purchase it at that value. And then the world, through trading back and forth, determines, based on the volume and activity, what the value of that piece of paper is. How's that any different than anything else? Oh, except for one thing. See, with cryptos, there is really no middleman. I mean, there is a bit of a middleman called this miner, right? And there's this way to track in a ledger, lots of ledgers that would then come up with, oh yeah, Grant Carson owns that currency. Now, you and I still have to decide what that's worth today. This morning we woke up and that Bitcoin, in my examples, worth $19,400 by 11 o'clock this morning. It was worth $19,900. Somebody was saying they wanted to pay more to get it, and somebody was saying at this price I'll sell it. So look, don't get all super complicated on the deal. If you drive through a city in your town, you're going to see a bank on every street corner. It goes to show you how much money there is in money. You hear what I'm saying? Why is there a Wells Fargo, a Bank of America, a City National on every street corner in the world? What do? They take your money. They literally don't pay you anything for holding your money. They convert your money to digits. How's that different than any of the cryptos? They convert it to digits. I'm telling you, you give them $100,000 a day and go back tomorrow and try to get that $100,000, you will not be able to get that money. They didn't keep your money. They converted your money to a digit. You understand what I'm saying? Or Wall Street. Go to New York City and go into the Goldman Sachs building. These people, they make casinos look like playgrounds. Okay? They build multi-billion-dollar businesses. These are capitalists off of manufactured ideas. Cryptocurrency could disrupt one of the biggest and oldest problems that has ever existed on this planet. The ability to move currency. In the old days, it used to be I trade my donkey for my chicken, or my chicken for my donkey, or your donkey, right? The currency was originally just a simple way to trade my chicken, get some money, and go buy a donkey. And it used to be coins, and the coins got too heavy, and then they went to a paper, and then when the paper for a while was backed by the golds and the silvers and the things, the real assets, and then back in the 70s, I guess, that was removed. The gold standard no longer backs the dollar. Dude, what's that piece of dollar worth? What's that dollar worth? What's it worth? All we know for sure is it's worth so little that the bank takes it and converts it to a digit. They don't even want the paper, okay? Stocks are worth even less. Go to Bank of America. Say, hey, I want to borrow money to buy your Bank of America stock. No, won't do it. They'll lend you money to buy a piece of real estate though, won't they? Why? Because they know that piece of real estate produces income every month. So what is Bitcoin? What is Litecoin? What is cryptocurrency? All I know is this. If I sold mine today, that speaking gig paid me $1.6 million. If I sold it today. Problem is, if I sell it today, I'm going to get cash for it. Okay? So I'm going to ride this baby out. Love to see your comments. I know there's a whole bunch of you out there that know a lot more about this space than I do. But the fact that you know more doesn't mean you do more. Okay? While you guys are learning about it, figuring it out, somebody got to make a trade. Okay? See, the last thing I'm going to say on this topic is this, because a very successful guy said, how did you make a decision to take that? I said, look, if you offered me stock, I'd have said yes. If you offered me cash, I'd say yes. If you offered me Amex, I'd say yes. If you offered me MasterCard or Visa, I'd say yes. If you offered me a share of your company's future profits, I'd say yes. I hold millions and millions of dollars of contracts, debt instruments, where people say they're going to pay me in the future because they signed a contract. I say yes to those. So I said yes to a contract. I said yes to cash. I said yes to Visa. I said yes to American Express. I would say yes to a future payout of some shares of your company of future profits. Why wouldn't I say yes to this Bitcoin thing? That's how I made the decision, right? Okay, 3 things. Say yes. Okay, say yes till you can't, till you have to say no. Number two, commit first, figure the rest out later. Number 3, look, just because you can't figure it out doesn't mean you shouldn't, right? You're taking all these other forms that you haven't quite figured out, and you take those and you trust and believe in the confidence of American Express or Visa or the contract, the debt instrument or whatever. I hope, my wish, my hope is that cryptocurrency solves a problem of such magnitude. It is so enormous. This problem of trading currencies is so enormous and so much filled with so much misunderstanding and bullshit, and so many capitalists, not entrepreneurs, the capitalists, Wall Street and banks have ripped off so many people in the exchanging of dollars. I hope cryptocurrency solves that problem. Which one does it? Let me tell you, the Bit, the ETH, the Lite, I don't know which one wins. I know this, there needs to be a place for me to be able to trade my currency, my properties, my intellectual ideas, have a safe, secure place without paying a fortune and being held hostage, and be able to exchange it with other people, and have a ledger that would suggest who actually owns that, so I'm not getting knocked off every second of every day and having to fight it in the courts. Cryptocurrency could be a massive, massive solution on this planet. So enormous that any of the numbers that are being thrown around right now about what is it worth, is there a bubble, the solution, unlike tulips, the problem being solved here, unlike the tulip bust, could be so enormous, okay, that to even think about what's a bubble or what something's worth is hard to think with. Hope this finds you well. There's 4,000 videos sitting on this channel. Please subscribe. I appreciate you supporting me so I can do more of this kind of stuff. And if you don't like it, put in there you don't like it. I know some people just don't like anything. If you have a comment, by the way, I'd love to see your comments, your questions, or what you know or don't know about this topic, or how I'm wrong, probably wrong about a lot of what I said. Again, look, how little do we even know about cash? What's it even worth? Hope this finds you well. Good investing. And by the way, That's why the real estate thing, so I'm so heavily invested in the real estate thing, is because I can go visit that address and know there's tenants there and they're going to pay me next month. Yeah, they're paying me in cash, but I'll take some Bitcoin.